And we're live. Hey everyone. I have significantly recovered from... That's a lie. I recovered a long time ago. Birthday stream was whack. Great time. I'm back. Feeling fully rejuvenated. Ish. And everyone has been raving about the Devil. Now I'm gonna check it out. Glad I'm feeling better? Well, thank you, Siege. Welcome. It's a bit of exaggeration. I felt better the next day, but like... I wanted to stream sooner, but you know, some reason the depression just hits me the hardest in the middle of a month. And I'm just like, have no motivation to stream. So here I am. Episode... Zilch. This game's apparently episodic. And you gotta pay like $10 per episode? How interesting. Click. Alright. See, this is gonna be since this is a visual novel, I'm probably gonna do a lot of talking and a lot of water. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. This city's got insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. How are the volumes, by the way? Do I need to turn the music down? Oh, that's funny. You can just stack it. Search, store. Morgan. All right. Just a wave of worries cresting on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Morgan. Criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown, and always online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's a light shining on every last pixel of a map. And someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity. Anonymity is scarce. The word always trips me up. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. I have as much else I can do until my phone. Counselor, your public defender contract has been approved. You're expected at the 254th precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. I'll try. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15. 90 minutes since I took the job. Oh, the library page lied. I can use my controller. Kinda. Alright, that's already an extra point in this game's favor, having DualShock support. Probably makes about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. 'Cause now that I'm here, things are gonna get busy. Of the Devil, Episode 0. And he shall appear. I'll enable him. Is it bad? The first thing I suspect nothing. Is it bad? The first thing I thought when I seen this character floating around on the internet is she looks like Makima from Chainsaw. That's not a bad thing. It's a neutral thing. She's pretty. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. Nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. Hear about a homicide. High claims rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash on my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Oh, that... So I used a trackpad for... Alright. That noise is very loud. I think I'll stick with mouse and keyboard. Oh, hey. Shit. Why was auto on? But hey, achievement. Sounds like a hospice work for heavy-handedness. A data pad? I'll bite. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative. In a flowery, roundabout corporate propaganda kind of way. Cream subway tunnels be irreparably flooded. City engineers announced this week that plans to try to repair the system. Saltwater damage. 89% of subway systems noted critically compromised. Efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hybrid super infrastructure system. That weaves together dreams. Can't be. Blasé, it's been years since we last ran and decades since they last ran on schedule. Long since hoping them making comeback. Topical. Too topical. Sure, barely reacted to the announcement with most Comebackers voters to focus on the growing investigation into Councilman Long's campaign finance irregularities. Long has often found himself with a small local group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore, an amplifier of light and noise pollution. Sorry, no fishing. No. Already considered by many to be a rising star in infrastructure tech startup Subterra, made headlines last year with their radical proposal for a system of personal submarine taxi pods that can make use of the flooded subway tunnels, but that just made me think of Elon Musk and his personal submarine he's going to try using to save those miners. Meant installed when the first prototype for the city came in at disappointing 3,359% over budget. Yeah, that sounds like Tesla. Lamau. One council member was quoted as calling their system mind-bogglingly wasteful and practical in the extreme. Repeat previous statement. By this latest announcement, Subterra has proudly cleared their intent to resubmit their proposal package. Council cities like ours struggle to find civil engineers, answer rising sea levels, etc. So by financial profit and aesthetical concerns. Of course. Sorry, no seconds. This increased the level of climate change, though there are some voices. Water rises and falls all the time for reasons we not fully understand. Are we to positive zero for your articles rain this month? Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I'd reach for my wallet after having to read a word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. Takeaways that the city will be focusing its efforts on. Wait, Subterra's back in the news? I don't trust our engineers to get a wheelbarrow down a hill. Their stock will get a bump in the short term anyway. So people remember how chronically inane their ideas are. I should call my broker when the sun comes up. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. Though museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide department's more like an attic. Hard to believe they're ever so busy that they have witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Was it dark? Did you know that during traumatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel. And all during billable hours. There's no room to sort out anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, my phone's made the same stuff, and I'm rolling dice every time it falls off the sofa. Probably know the warranty on one of those things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings, where there's a few missing persons too. 1 year silver plane coverage, courtesy of Caduceus, as a reward for any... Silver's no joke. Family must be getting desperate. Alright, I've taken in all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. Boot up fine. So far so good. Good morning. Morgan, here for... Morgan, is that me or her? Morgan, here for public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Great! Please stand still for a moment. I won't call intake hollows charming, more like harmless. But that's probably what designers are aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their text, as long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great! Now could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? Birthday's on a damn ID card, and my profile. I'd be world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem, my birthday's... December 26th. AB. Likes puzzles, smoking wooden furniture, dislikes commercials, hairdressers, jogging. Can fall asleep in any position. I wish I were me. Decaf, whiskey sour. Nice. It's been ages since I've had a whiskey sour. I miss drinking. December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender contract. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to counseling quarter 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room. I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. Can't keep track of every new euphemism, either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the fact it makes a person feel. Change the way it makes a person feel sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection duly warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Iowa City's not terribly concerned with the lower wards. This is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated. Really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? I'm sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. Inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? They're gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? What are you? What are you? I'm a smart use interface proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I can send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That'll be all, thank you. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office, through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now. So you could go on break if you like. Automated dependence. Do not take breaks, Morgan Counselor. What were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. Eyes gone bad or something? A voice. No. Voices coming from down the hall. Per to yours? Probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. Building this empty, the desk could have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and slightly low energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious. The other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like your job is important or anything. Definitely cops. At this precinct, at this hour, localized entirely within your kitchen? Might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. So why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100 looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't going to say that. How many of those sheets were blank then? Girl? Girl with eye patch? No red carpet tonight, officers. Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep any extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. But mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan, Esquire. Pleased to meet you. Same here, Counselor. Kasim, London. Ball of Sunshine, here is my partner, Farah Reyes. Or Reyes. Ball of Sunshine. She certainly is. Huh? Sorry if you kept waiting. Chair between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? You can't be more than a few years younger than me. We're, the detectives in charge of this particular case. Looks like tonight, we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. Never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in and of itself, in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks iron. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you're just the first to arrive on the scene. No, not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural. There's been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We're only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicate involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I may as well bite at this point. Suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity. Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm on to some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer. Cover utilities at the rock you live under? Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. Pfft, enough of him for a life. I've heard enough of him for a lifetime. Names been plastered all over the city for weeks. Their crimes are wavering between breaking news and urban legend. Their presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in the exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. And when it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the kill part that tipped you off? You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. One bullet, straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps over originality. What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a whole different beast. It takes a certain kind of monster. A real freak. A real creature. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. Sounds robotic. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No, it's not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam. Of course, my mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky, I guess they're all firing blanks. Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades. But they don't commit murder. Right. Evil like Heartbreak is all organic. That's a pretty terrifying thought. Likes killing, dislikes getting caught. Well, hey, Noble. Probably read. Probably not into astrology. Reward suspended due to influx of false reports. Kasim, London. May 5th. Be positive. Hey, that's my blood type. How was I check for? Likes photography, dive bars, bangs. Like hair? Dislikes ties, pollen, after hours, work messages, listens to podcasts, hobby, pencil sketching, running late. A negative. Likes rice, limes, automotive history. Dislikes liars, small plates, cheap people. Watching product reviews. Bad at games of chance. Right eye, Osiris Elite 86. No, by specialized projectors or mediums like conductive resin, holograms, or graphic displays that appear three-dimensional to the human eye when viewed from any part of a face range of at least 180 degrees, an effect known as Watterson illusion phenomenon. Originally patented in late 2059. There's no use exclusively in the adult entertainment. Holograms did not become widely adopted as an advertising tool until the much maligned holiday season of 2061, after which laws restricting the presence of holograms in public spaces were passed with uncharacteristically universal support. Sorry to see that you can sell a sub between this device to disable and highlight. I recommend premium external links. I understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you the best. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Oh, we've noticed you're using an ad blocker. This hurts us. Please turn it off so we can fill you with more ads and viruses. We promise we won't give you any viruses. Ooh. Lightweight portable electronic device in a state of power. Originally marketed as a place for ecological wasteful newspapers, magazines, flyers. No, it's became infamous for difficulty and expense involved in recycling them once their limited lifetime components expired. Yep, no shit. Rebranded as ideal for privacy and security, the datapads found sex in the private and public sectors. Their ability to display location lock content helped corporation minimize data leaks and give their advertisements general reference. Automate dependent, abbreviated as ad, referred to in common conversation as ad or ads. Automate dependent is a catch-all term encompassing robots, intelligent programs, attractive holograms, and androids. Ads are present both digitally and physically in every industry and nation on the planet, assisting in everything from database to century. Lobbyists pushed through new tax classification to find intellectual machines that were neither salaried employees nor mere equipment. Because it afforded tax breaks and lower tariffs, the term became so commonly used that it spread to all branches of the robotics industry, from which point it began to penetrate into everyday speech and pop culture. Some sociologists argue that the term owes its popularity not simply to its brevity and prevalence, but to its ability to draw a distinction between the commonplace robots, androids, smart UIs, etc., and the internationally illegal artificial intelligences. Nice. Switching to this term main current account flag. Read more about how to cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here. Or not. Alright, so there's basically no privacy online or offline, but at least AI is outlawed. That's cool. That's one. Mark that down for pros. Conductive resin. This outwardly resembles plastic or glass. Conductive resin is actually an electromagnetic polymer used in a wide variety of stationary portable devices, where its unique properties allow it to act. Okay, so it's a screen. Very lightweight and fragile, except for the small handful formulated for military and security, of course. Okay, wait. Because of its widespread use in high turnover products such as datapads and smartphones, producers of conductive resin are frequently accused of engineered obsolescence by consumer rights groups, though these claims have not been proven before court. Of course they haven't. Fujitabi charm. Let's go, Sarah. Sato stock. Emma, deep in thought. Neko Morg. Oh my god, it's Neko Arc! Damn. Block behind demo. Fuck. Okay. Should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders? Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. When we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer and tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. Take it to have serious evidence to back that up? I was being literal, counselor. Huh? Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery files, and the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks, Detective. I'll be sure to read it over. Well, if it's all the same, could I ask you some questions while I got you here? What kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your clients do an interrogation all night for all I care. You mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Rhea's desk. It's neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. Is she so new she hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Huh? Both, maybe. Shouldn't have cleaned up so much for just a little me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system. Or even just a stapler. Paper documents scatter about lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's really old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. Doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, orderliness aside, some things are better in paper. I'll give him that. Augmented Reality Crime Scene is an investigative tool in which data harvested by the sensors worn on first responders is used to reconstruct a digital copy of a pristine crime scene. Neat. ARCS is used by after its introduction in the early 2060s, technology briefly came under public scrutiny when the independent news organization United Mediacasters released a series of reports claiming that ARCS data was regularly edited by corrupt officials to erase state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake. And UMC was exposed as a subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, who were marketing a number of alternatives to ARC technology at the time. Denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors and soon leadership at UMC, but the proceedings and settlements in those lawsuits remain sealed. Oof. But I got 7. Right? Seven what? Hey, I'll be right back. Give me just a moment. Wish I'd managed to do that 30 minutes sooner. I'm back. Alright. Latest Noble Androids receive warm welcome, bolstered by a strong earnings report and surging sales of the Anime 16. Noble Electronics stock rose a stunning 3%. I guess for stocks that's big, I guess. I don't know. To a new record high, while Noble's latest iterations yeah, Noble, you're in the game. You're making robots. To increase many investors were skeptical when, at the infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced that the 16th line would be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. Wouldn't that make them cyborgs at that point? So-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in the health, senior, and childcare sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the likes. While some critics voiced concern that fringe religions or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-focused minds feared that Noble was alienating its customers' industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers. Users that viewed their androids from across the room and not from above the factory floor. However, as has often been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong, poised to break profitability records. So they made androids you can fuck, is what I'm guessing. Dr. David Asher. Hashtag Noble Industry Weekend. It's because of his Turing solution that every Noble product, from the sleekest systems to the most advanced intensive care technicians, are also beloved and trusted by our customers. Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. I want to put in your account info so we can help keep you reading. No. He's in the news again. It's no wonder can't spit without laying on a piece of Noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. Don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids though. For government use, they're just... just too expensive to justify. Wait, what am I thinking? No state's ever had a problem with spending money on overpriced crap. Alright, how do I talk to them? An aircon system that probably sweats more than people it's supposed to cool? A room in the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expect to find a lot of belt-tightening a homicide. I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. They got a stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy. What with our dear doting surveillance state eliminating so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping grounds for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. Got better idea who I'm dealing with at least. I need to check out the crime scene data. Should have been sent a link. Been granted access safe files regarding case KL3433511. Reply C to confirm. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I'm an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preference. So state likes you'd be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. C. Thank you. Bitch. C for cunt is what I would have typed. Alright, if I project from my phone... Augmented reality crime scene. Alright, let's see what the police have and what they think is important. A murder weapon, a revolver, found right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs practically disassembled the damn thing. While they found her fingerprints belonging to my client. She was found by the police with the murder weapon, ran from the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. The victim's body. Cause of death: ballistic trauma, class 4 blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound to the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. Blood spatter, forensics, and all the other good stuff tells him that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Stand-up mirror, shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arm, while shards of glass are scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. It's 27 degrees. It's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Too warm for me. Seems like this vase was tossed out at some point. If there's not a scratch on it, must be pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age. In a neighborhood like this. But no signs of forced entry. Only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. Just a lounge chair that got thrown in. Whatever that is. Identified ceramic debris? Flag is irrelevant? That's her technical assessment? Even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything that's police highlighted. Did I miss anything? The hell is that? Something in the victim's hand. How the hell did... It's just a pill organizer. Looks like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and Chiprexazone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication. taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her toxin was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the kicker is everything that's not here. Know how to place DNA, footprints, crumbs, nothing that points towards anyone except my client. Internet of Things refers to the network data sharing that goes on between all the countless electronics we monitor ourselves with. Phones, computers, security systems, biofeedback devices, body modifications and prosthetics, and of course automated dependents, all comprise small but vital parts of this network. Without IoT's ability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs build up as individuals, governments, and private business miss out on the valuable insight that data has to offer. One of the coolest ways that IoT improves our lives is through the use of crumbs, small packs of data containing your own unique identifying information. Throughout your day, as your own IoT devices say hi to other devices, they'll leave behind crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allow for paperless identification and payment, and help the government manage human and vehicular traffic. Crumbs let you see where you've been so that you can see where you should go. Want to start leaving crumbs right away? Don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. I shouldn't sponsor service. I prefer to leave 0 crumbs, actually. This bitch ate and left no crumbs, as they might say. Trying to breathe indeterminate origin found a crime scene. Found the far side of the room by the western window. Compound pills from Cosmograph contains a number of prescriptions and over-the-counter medications, including adjusters, NSAIDs, and ciprexazone, described to reduce moderate to severe discomfort arising from mod sensitivity complications. I guess that's our client's name, Flat. And it points toward anyone except my client. I've done more with less before. But not much more. Really gonna have to sing for my supper this time. Better get started. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is... I suppose it could be something important. Brat. Red! What couldn't wait until morning? Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated... parole. Well, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and phishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What did they do? Make me run laps. Not illegal. Let me finish! They made me run laps? Even though I said I had a stomach ache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so... Anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is that the kind of morbid things kids your age talk about? Teens my age. Actually, I'm a teenager, so shut the fuck up. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like Hardy B is like... quaint. What fucking teens your age use the word quaint? It's not heartbreak. Why'd you take the job, lol? See the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? Taking up lost cause, probe nose work? It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday, I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 AM, kid. You got school in like 3 hours. Shit! Repeat offenders may be good for business. That kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it? Just your typical teenage trauma. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. Less reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weird read. It's not just journalists, though. All kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodworks is just a few weeks. Can you blame him, though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species. But he's gotten away with... We know what he's gotten away with! Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registries robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crimes at an all-time low and clearance rates at an all-time highs. But you're gonna spout some alt-pol All political bullshit about invasion of privacy. Oh no, they're bad. Then again, ACAB, so of course. No, I'm not. We're both safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when someone like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. Len's trying to look like he can laugh it off. Pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need to see someone charged, and that makes him predictable. Cool screen. Yeah, well, you know there's nothing standard about HK. Department SOP still dictates we starve the media for case details. That way when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. We can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shootings were caught in the opt-in crime surveillance system. How's that even possible? I know there's some rough areas in the lower wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? Do you think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concerns, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance systems signing up to feed into the state security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes. Or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance, deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this couldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with very few holes left in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved. But the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts. And the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. I see. Those windows of opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. Need to be involved in law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. They had mentioned my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. His file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation. Not tech interfacing, such as lead city planning. So does he work construction for the city? This case only ever struck at times in locations where optics would be down. Even with the devil's own luck, it can't possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Right in schedule, so to speak. And include the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Huh. Well, what about DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics? Also no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. They didn't have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics. No matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he'd set out to do all along. So is my client on the list of suspects before tonight? Weren't you listening? There was no list of suspects. We questioned some execs, a few CIs, someone even spoke to 1 or 2 unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There's talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they could have, to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. The Opt-in Crime Surveillance System, abbreviated as Optics, is a partnership program between the state and private enterprises that allows for the free sharing of surveillance and security data to better promote and preserve public safety. Accessible through state employee logins or private partner accounts, Optics allows used to search through and collate footage from a city of tens of millions in just a few simple keystrokes. Optics is frequently cited in the state reports as one of the most effective tools for reducing crime. Footage from Optics often serves as key evidence in criminal proceedings, where it is considered admissible by default. See People vs. Irwan. Frequently search for public safety measures in my area. The security level. Hey there, it looks like you're trying to search for a term related to an ongoing investigation. Until authorities have made their findings public, results may be heavily curated or temporarily unavailable. Well, fuck you. By the way, I can't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? Thought there'd be at least a few androids around. There aren't many androids in any police station this week, not while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Hell yeah, Noble, you put the screw to them. Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. Spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered here. Saved us some money on shipping at least. These talks never last that long. I'm sure they'll be back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids? Warm. Ugh. Might as well call it the adult line. Called it. They made it cyborgs you can fuck. Might seem in the bigger departments are on patrol, but not around these offices. Or more cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. Yet? Really? Yet? You really think that'll happen? We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Doesn't seem like that big a stretch to me. You're joking, right? Android detectives? With all the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us? With your warm personality, I can't imagine. Cop knocks on your door, starts asking questions, you're gonna be put in a bad mood. An ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal in a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You're gonna start posting shit that'll get you put on a list. Well, we certainly don't want that. But flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Give it a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen. She needn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. Alright, chalk that up as another con. All unions are busted except for cops, because of course. So the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth, but we've managed thanks to less biased sources, and we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses? Sounds eerily similar to real police work. Oh. That's a neat trick in her eye. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered. Things go quiet sometime before 9. Then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get a timestamp. We heard from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Hold on a sec. Right. Emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrived in the street at 9:08, established a perimeter, enter through the open front door at 9:10. Then they find your client crouched over his said girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they moved to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand, singular? Your client's modded, cybernetic right arm. How mod are we talking about here? Registered with a HAL 85 habilis, industrial grade, looks like. Maybe he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to... Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of... Well, basically, he could crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Considering a career change? No, it's not that, it's just... Or I must be very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. Here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. Think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? She just called Reyes a chuny. That's funny. Getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. He can't work without it. Money got tight. The arguing? Yeah. When he put his arm in for repairs. 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance he'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. The client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver. And no one else's. A revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, a Calver M54, 6-chambered, 10mm. Calver? How retro. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How's that? Just how are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safeties coded to owner biometrics. Past 3 decades, tags have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he got away with this 5 other times? If you tried to buy a gun legit, you'd probably fail the very first psych check. And even jailbroken PCs are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. So then, M54, that's model year 2054. 30-year-old gun. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old too. The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. But now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. With the protocols, they found the texts were able to match the rifling marks and all 6 bullets to the gun your client was found with. Rifling marks? Bullets fired from guns saddle are marked by the barrel's shape. So if all 6 bullets have the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. That's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. The caliber your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun. Just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police for a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... Summarize then. You believe that my client fought verbally, then physically, with his girlfriend. And then you retrieved this weapon and shot her? Yeah, pretty much. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his affect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. Their reaction may have lost some points for the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. So long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Manufactured family firearms from 2031 to 2062. When it was bought out by Thortec, an acquisitions group specialized in security and national defense, is now a subsidiary of the Lockcune Defense Corporation. No guns have borne the caliber branding since their production halted in 2060. The once iconic brand was briefly revived in 2071 Q2 with a series of video game memorabilia, time promotions meant to increase in-game item sales. What? Anyway, Ford discontinued Q3 for fans to increase in-game item sales. Well, no shit. I got this little skin tag thing on the very tip of my finger, and it's driving me insane. Anyway. Mods, term that may refer to cybernetic, prosthetics, artificial implants, neural enhancements, or any combination of the above. Body modifications have been seen throughout history and across a wide range of cultures. The modern BMM The biomodification movement is differentiated by a shift from intrinsic factors, such as identity, to intrinsic motivators, job opportunities, technological benefits, improvements in physical or mental ability. Historically, mods have been classified based on which section of the user's spinal cord the interfacing occurs at: thoracic, lumbar, or cervical. So I could get a modded pussy. That's good to know. So that account for mods which interact directly with the human brain. The increased prevalence of so-called above-the-neck modding in recent years has led to several corporations and medical organizations proposing their own new classification systems, but so far, none have gained much traction. Can you return mods? Can you undo mod surgery? Best reviewed neural implants 2086. First, the process of scouring all available data posted on the net within a certain time frame and location range from evidence of a crime, an increasing common technique for police departments, corporate investigators, occasionally public relations firms. Brute force work is performed by ads, and in physical experience, human supervisors must establish strict search constraints in order to produce. Interest in the practice spiked when Senator Bancroft positioned it as a key pillar of his party's law and order platform, but pollings indicate voters rarely held a strong opinion on the process. Left sleeve matches out the victim. Boasts impressive combination of grip strength, dexterity, low cost of maintenance. Success of it in its sister products went away towards securing state contracts for Howe Industries. And it's her right hand. Rifling marks match uncertainty. Rifling marks match bullets from previous with big certainty as far back as 2051. So how about the basics? Exactly as my client been charged with. Our client, Carlos Backer Flat, would that be Baker? 2K these things Backer. Was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. using his bill name already? I really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being the first degree murder of his partner, a Miss Diane Dawn. First degree? That's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. He's got damn near more cameras than people. So you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times. That makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But nutjobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies crawling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So this serial killer chose his victims at random? If they have nothing in common... Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than that, they all look like cousins. Physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight. Well, those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You're really gonna try and tell me you don't see the resemblance? Young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take the hint. So you think what exactly? The Carlos flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Excuse me. Hey, if the shoe fits. If the shoe fits? Then you put the shoe on the... What sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. He's probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. I want to claim that those previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes. Top of which, guns aren't personal, execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend, or her lookalikes, usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Oh. Should I not have hit space so soon? Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think you understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only your job to catch the bat. My mouth's getting too dry. Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Gee, you could have told me that sooner. Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in Discovery Data, but I should warn you, doesn't exactly make for light reading. I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of this to happen. Can't say in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to do it at first. But I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That doesn't sound like a confession for murder. That sounds like... It sounds more like heartbreak than murder. That was difficult to read. Very legible, in fact. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. Not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer, and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in the cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. And that's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them are redheads. Seriously though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Camera's off if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor's practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I suggest you help him sign the confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty's not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Hey there, dude. Ongoing controversy following the suspected suicide of inmate. Okay, that tells me everything I need to know. Process of locating, bypassing, investigating all of deceased individuals' online profiles, commonly used to seek out possible connections or Yeesh. Still don't see his face. Cool. B-, first degree homicide. Self-disturbance, yeah. Registered at birth. Modifications as through class 4. Known affiliates pending. Agricultural genetics researcher for Perigi Laboratory. Shot through the heart. Bedroom with the apartment. Shares with Carl's flat. No connection with other. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from... well, that's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty. That much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards a heartbreak killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Carlos flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover. But this shouldn't take all night. Where do you... Look, I already told you people I didn't... I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. Your lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well... They said that too. All of them did. Back there, in here, kept repeating it the whole ride over. They said they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed, acting like they're on my side. And they thought that I could have... It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure. They were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So what do you want to know? Let's start simple. Something mundane, grounded, wrote. New word. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in? I'm with city engineering. Or I was, or I should be. As I thought, the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackout using data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And, Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? Works in city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said that he was modded for work, and that arm must be in custody at the moment, but based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty lifelike. As if. Alright, so that's how that works. Utilitarian, yeah. This doesn't strike me as the type who's enamored with the aesthetics of modding. Young and restless and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Or the way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out. A whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present. Test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small. A hand or an eye. Test the water. Never thought about logging my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, because the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit canned. So now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep that tax credit. The new Citizens and Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. But I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment. I worked at tighter spaces, the high volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know. He's speaking freely now. Don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. But the right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work in the canopy? You must be... under a lot of pressure. You must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off. Damn straight, and this crap with Long? Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that the internal affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, no room for engineering. Yeah, no patience for screw-ups. Trying very hard to not look at his shoulder. Aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection? Did the therapy not take? It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then, do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. So those cuts in his face are just from shaving? Never thought this would go on so long. I have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said, an easy fix. But the problem got bigger? Couldn't let it get that far. Need to be able to trust your own hands. Need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Where did you turn it in? Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. Doesn't sound like you're a very happy customer. Hell no! Found a dozen Hell no, I'd found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. That's why I'm sitting here with this expensive-ass stump for a shoulder. Haven't been able to work in weeks. Boss or generous enough to say my position might still be there when I get 2 working arms again. You can buy a rental replacement yourself. Just in the meantime, I serve the pleasure of the state. They've got exclusive exclusivity contracts with Hindi, all locked up, white-knuckled tight. Hindi? How Industries? Shut up. As I recall, he's registered one of their Habilis models. If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines, I'd lose the down payment and my arm. I'd never work in this city again. If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that belongs in deep hot shit. You mentioned discomfort? Are you in pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything arm-shaped attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something that clinics lend out for cases like this? What they gave me is a deadweight, 3-jointed landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible. Technically, I could slot it in and feel on balance again. But the fingers don't even bend, and the quick switch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep, or dead. So were you wearing it when you were arrested? Were you wearing it when you were arrested? No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw a police bag in as evidence, so can't have gotten too far. Wait, you don't like musicals or cashews? Phantom pain, obviously. Some like stops coming from power is no longer there. The areas of the nervous system that were previously devoted to processing those sensations reconfigure themselves to still be of use. Occasionally the brain takes this new sensory processing as still being associated with pain or sensation from the amputated limb. There's a large mental element to play. Therapy for phantom pain reduction necessarily involves physiological conditioning and often the use of prosthetics. Phantom pain has become more widely experienced and understood as a result of the sort of the body modification movement, baiting increased reduced career lives their amputees. Phantom vision are caused by faulty insulation on cybernetic eye mods, resulting in periodic electrical discharges across the retina. Schedule a consultation. And the victim's blood in his left arm only, because at the time in question he didn't have a right. If he's right-handed, but if he's right-handed, then that means he couldn't have made those extremely precise shots with the gun with his left hand, so he couldn't have taken those shots. Open as well as I can be expected. So I'll just have to be a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. Shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. When he makes that sad face, it just reminds me of the frown that Scott Summers makes in Monster Prom. I wonder if anyone else sees it. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics, focused her studies on agriculture. It always takes him a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out the gate. Practically headhunted, you believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company'd be lucky to have her. Unlike... It was a real-ass job. Paid real-ass money, too. So her career was starting to pan out. Raise yours would fall into the mother of all slumps. Where is she hired? Pedigree? No, Perigee Laboratories? Is it like the name matters? The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella. That doesn't narrow it down. Harvest Company grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco's about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons, no one's gonna buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Has she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough? I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. And there's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot. Hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. Other suspects, I can't just reshuffle detective suspicions. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was? I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Oh. Start at the beginning. Take your time. The details are important. Alright, Miss, Morgan. I'll try, Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We've been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself. More than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous of her nothing. Jealous of her goddamn money. The reports say you're arguing around 8 p.m.? 8? Yeah, must have been when we started. We got into it and I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have. And I said one thing that I really, really shouldn't have. I crossed the line and we both knew it, so I left. You left? Yeah, walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid, thick like mud. While I was pissing away the time, Diane was... Did you bring your phone with you, or any other electronics? No. I kinda stormed off. Didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With optic sound, traffic, and street-level cameras won't help him. That leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint, or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything? Cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? I have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time. Wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details quite right. My head is... But if my exact route would help, the cam's probably... What? What is it? Optics with what? Can that even happen? There's no other proof that you were out... And there's no other proof that you're out at the time Dan was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't... Carlos. I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. Right. Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud, and it scared me. And it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first. At some point, I must have started running, because when I got back, I was so out of breath. And when I saw that the front door was open, something dropped on my chest, and my lungs wouldn't. You live on the first floor, right? Yeah, first floor apartment, street-facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway, I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was... The lights were off. The whole room was a mess. Thought we'd been robbed, or she'd fallen, or there was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name, and she didn't move. I checked her pulse, and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And I saw the gun. It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it! Huh. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies, bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie, but it can be hard to know what to do about it. But I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. None of this works if he doesn't trust me. There's fingerprints matching Carl's background, rifling, match pierce, or match bullet with pierce rifling with other bullets. It's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun. What? But I didn't do this. I wasn't thinking. I was just... Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun? That explains how his prints got on the gun. But not in a way that would satisfy the police. Still, all he did was hold the gun. That's so stupid. I know what a gun looks like. But seeing in my own home, right in front of... You're in shock, Carlos. You still are. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast. It seemed like the rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you never had a physical fight? What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say that we did? They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed the room was shoveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos had told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene. Oh. Excuse me. It's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just that... It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay, let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I've got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take notes. You just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was, but, well, the mirror was upright, of course, and that clock was still on the wall. A chair got knocked over at some point, and the bed got tossed, the cushions torn, and the urn fell. Other than that, no, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just... I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR. Well, I suppose that works too. Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering... I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. Don't you dare speak ill of her art. Like fucking Rukia in Bleach. Let's talk about the letter that was found in your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean this letter here. Do you recognize it? Because the police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is just a note to self. Pardon? Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you seen the note that you hurt them? That's... I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? Her what? Her fidget tubbies. They're these collectible ceramic... So that's the unexplained... There's the drawing. So that's this, the fidget tubbies. They're supposed to be like tactile. Use them as paperweights or conversation starters. Conversation starters. She loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit rental arm! I hardly know where I'm swinging at half the time. Got so angry I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. That cheap, dusty, worthless... Okay, let's say he did break her frigid duckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the Heartbreak killings anyway, couldn't even bother to sweep them up. I felt so... Alright, Carlos. Thanks for answering my questions. I'm gonna call the police back in here, and I'm gonna get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? That's it? Oh, okay. Although, before I do that, I do have to ask. What do you know about the Heartbreak Killer? Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month? I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everybody's on edge. A guy like that out there. He shoots people through the heart, right? The police have kept the victim's appearances far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that just doesn't mean anything, does it? If he's this slow in the uptake, it's gonna be a real shock when these officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I'll just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible. Probably discard it in frustration of smashing into victims' collectibles. Fidget tubbies. Collectible and fragile ceramic conversation starters. Victims' personal pulverized, replacement for an acquired taste. Excuse me. I didn't realize you could smoke in here. Technically, I can smoke wherever I want. For a fee. Ooh! That was a big number. I guess so. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right, I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this. No, of course not. It'll be my first homicide defense, though. Oh. Why does everyone always think the first time's so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up! I've got relevant experience in other areas. Oh. What areas are those? You ever gamble, Carlos? No, man. No, ma'am. I never go anywhere near loot boxes. Don't... Won't touch the stuff. I meant more like playing cards. Oh. Then, know that too. I actually got pretty terrible luck. Could have fooled me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win, which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so, do you have a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Only when the stakes are high. In this metaphor, we're playing poker. And the state's the dealer? If only. No, the state's more like... the house. You mean like the house always wins? Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house. So what do? We play the cards we're dealt as best as we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up, and eventually, someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder and whisper something in their ear. And then we'll be politely asked to leave. That doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. So our definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan. I guess I was more asking like, What should I say? Just leave all the talking to me. So that's the strategy? Pfft. What's up? You know, there's a saying about gamblers with strategies. Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA. Already? She must be new. District attorneys have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair, since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer simple guilty pleas over long, protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then, you'll have to call them back, as my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right! What she said. You got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generation, I guess. For my time kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Counselor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession. Let's start there. Okay, we'll be happy to. The thrust of every argument starts with the facts. What's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player at the table. It's pretty simple, counselor. Real paint-by-number stuff. And see, we found a note at his apartment with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. Now, how are you planning on spinning that? Those are the facts. But I've been building up my hand all night. Now I've got the weapons to answer anything they try and throw at me. Well, my client did write that note, and it was an apology. But not for murder. He was apologizing for... Alright, here it comes. He was simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? I found myself asking that exact same question. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? This diagram of the room is created from data you captured, right? Pure non-GMO augmented reality crime scene data, yeah. What's non-GMO? Not much these days. Oh, funny. Notice anything out of place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder. Full of busted shit for sure. I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found on the western side of the room. The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed. Actually, that's not possible. Oh? Because that vase wasn't damaged. It's not possible for that debris to have come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine. How's that? How is that possible? Look at that garage sale told me it was so old and delicate. Damn it, the one time I tried and thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? What does it even matter? Vase doesn't have a scratch on it. Then the debris must have come from somewhere else. That debris is what my client wrote that apology over. Saying that confession was his apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of Fidget Tubbies! What he said. That was like 2 seconds. What he said. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident, and this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology. Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're all in agreement that my client wrote that note. We can all plainly see that there is ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have been from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Those things! Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room was trashed, as the arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle too. You really gonna claim he sat down to write an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I can do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that. And there's proof. A dusty fidget tubby slayer. Just take a closer look at the rental you took into custody. Huh? One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it was to the fickle... One swipe of your finger should show exactly how devastating it was to the fickle buddy ecosystem. It's fidget tubbies. Whatever. You did take into custody. I'm sure your text found ceramic debris on it, yes? Now that you mention it... Fine, whatever. He broke them with his arm. While he was killing her. Happy? Overjoyed, because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that had logged the last time it was worn, right? Right. See, I happened to spot a footnote in the lab report. Said that the rental hadn't been used since the AM. Whose side are you on, old man? It's gotten pretty late, sunshine. Just trying to save us all this awesome time where I can. Well, thank you for your service. Well, thank you for your service! Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. Expect me to believe he was out upset over fidget tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded? Setting aside Detective Reyes' surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles, you're correct. They held real no monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what? So what? After all, that's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks the way it does... Bray Bray! 8 months? Dude! Thank you. That's that means I've just hit 15 subscribers. Is that my current sub goal? I think. Thank you. Hey, literally don't worry about it. I'm always telling people, like, I'm grateful for subs, but I'm always telling people the best way to support me is through coffee. But, like, you do you. Thank you. And hey, doll. I almost didn't even catch that because the game is still too loud. No, the only reason that note looks the way it does is because Carlos is right-handed. Because Carlos is right-handed. Yes, I am. James Attila here. Do they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason why that note looks like an asylum wall of scribbles is just because he had to use his left hand to write it. I tend to think better writing than typing. And I need to get used to using my left anyway. I just thought it could be good practice. Taking that into account, alongside the ceramics, your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorseless. Now let's get back to the reality of the situation. Here are the facts. Do I need help voicing things? I'm good for now, but... I'm only on my second water bottle. Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covering the victim's blood, right next to a big old goddamn gun that just so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is... What, you're gonna claim that's not his? That he actually wears an extra small? She's trying to bait me in her typical low-key fashion. If you're free next time, Bray, I could have you on to voice stuff. That is always fun. She must have something, no sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, detective? I'm just curious. What will it be next? You're gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? Oh. I don't have a choice. Gee, Carlos, do you? No. Yeah? Sure there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention? No, I'm afraid not. Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime. To prove his innocence, I will need to get there eventually. Going there now, without hard evidence? So these are his pills. Nah. I have no evidence of a third party at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there that night. So keep dreaming. So obviously I had something there. I wasn't going to win that hand either way. At least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. We're not contesting any of that, detective. My client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in confusion after coming home to find the brutal crime scene. Which was not smart. Hey. But not illegal either. And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did. Right. Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way? The lab finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at? It'll be easier to just show you. Would you mind getting them for me? You know what? Sure, I could use the fresh air. Stinks of bullshit in here anyway. And here I thought the room smelled like... Psst, Morgan. What are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. I remember that much. So doesn't that, like, make me look really bad? Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. That means that having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you. Really? Really? Not really. Oh. Morgan looks good with green hair. Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck, or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. What was it that reminded me of? Alright, here it is. One blood-stained jacket, fresh from the lab. Yeah, there's only blood in the left sleeve. The hand he used to check her pulse. One blood-stained jacket, fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us it's actually just hot sauce? No. That'd be silly. She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey! Sorry, just got thrown off by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket, Carlos. She's just proven your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time. He would have been wearing it at the time of the murder. It has the victim's blood in it, who we know died when she was shot in the heart. By a gun that happened to be an old world pre-tagging firearm. And so this coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense? Sense happens to be key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can. I can see in the coat with your eyes. You'd smell the gunpowder. Just do me one favor, detective. Tell me what you smell. I don't smell anything except dried blood. Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but it doesn't smell of... cigarette! That's what I've been smelling! Yes, Detective London. I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation? I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket? If you would. Let's see. Huh. No gunpowder. What? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder's weak by today's standards, but it's still volatile stuff. Hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. The hell is she talking about, London? Yeah, gunshot residue. Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They got more accuracy, less firepower, less recoil, less noise. They don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue. You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave digital traces. But a revolver like this one? It'd leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then his coat... If you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. I think if they had found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it. Well, whatever! That just means he washed off after shooting her, or he changed his clothes. That's not impossible. But it'd be pretty pointless. Huh? His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Would he really go through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue? just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flat is facing as soon as possible. Whoa. They're faltering now. Should topple over at any moment. That was mostly icing on the cake for them. That gun is all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things are a little dicey there at times. Once I was able to grasp the situation, smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say. Did you get a message? Wait, did they actually manage to find it? Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes? You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you. Thanks. But your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting. And right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer. Wanna bet? Those screens are my favorite in the game. They have that same kind of intense horror vibes. That same kind of vibe that the in-between screens in Signals are like. A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. I'm not sure I follow, Detective. Didn't we establish there was an optics blackout during the shooting? Sure there was. This isn't from optics. Shit. That's a bold bluff for this late in the game, Detective. Especially when we both know there was an optics blackout during the shooting. Well, that's just it. This isn't from optics. Ah! So I lose either way? Okay. So it's a matter of losing one or two. Alright. I just want to see what the quote right choice was. But this isn't from optics. Good thing I held my tongue. As I thought, the scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network. Which means... Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. Wow, you can totally see his face and everything. Well, okay. The quality is lacking. Yet, there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the skill their tools operate on, I guess chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You could even see I got lucky, which means the stakes are... Well, it's a little bit blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone, probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be on. And so we managed to get this shot through the window. Where to begin? far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century. There are tools that can enhance. Computer, zoom and enhance. Enhance this image any further and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in the court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. There's no way in hell you could get this past the judge. Yeah, you're probably right. We couldn't. But I think I know a DA that could. Either way, doesn't seem like your client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell is happening to me? Think I know a DA that could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence on a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who we know that had their left hand fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight. So he must have shot with his left. His right arm is right there. Like, come on. Like, no, that's clearly the end of a hand right there. I'm gonna bet on that. Yes, and we've already established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever. Francis will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you're going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. The photo is real. If both are true, that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words? Never! I'm just confused about one thing. Where's this photo taken from exactly? Exactly. Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we DNon the phone's owner and ask them where... Why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells us that the perp shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance of the apartment faces to the south. And there's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious that this was taken from across the north window. Where a mirror was... Wait. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious that it was taken from across the north window. From the north? This is from the north. Now why can we clearly see the... It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the northern window. She's wrong. I could seize on the opportunity to start turning the tide. clock. I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative. How do you mean this is taken from the west? The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Officer's ARC's data tells us the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And altogether that tells us that this photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider just take one look at the clock in that photo. The clock? What about it? The shitty hand drawing. The clock, huh? Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on and keep my tempo high. This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong. That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer is no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree the time of death was 9 p.m. Right, no mistaking that. So what the hell were you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo. Analog style. And it reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m. the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads, but... Do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor. And the only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition. It's, very distinct. If you had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the arts? And show my hand. Just because discovery law compels us to share info, doesn't mean we have to play fair, detective. Slip my mind. I'll do that now. The important thing is that the clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred. And this photo must be looking through the western window to see it. Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9. At the same time this photo was taken of this shooter. But you want to claim that that clock's still on the eastern wall when it would have been knocked down during the fighting? You've got your logic backwards, detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the cards fell. What is that? Can you... Oh. Andreas, stop spoiling. please. Glass shards? What about them? Nothing really, only that they're on top of the victim's body. And not under it. If the glass fell on top of the victim's body, that would mean that she was on the ground before the room got trashed. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards? It's okay. I'm not mad. It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of struggle at the other crime scenes? Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over a minute and over a matter of seconds. So what'd you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That this was personal and things had gotten complicated? Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her! We have a photo right here. I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence. Huh? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult, and maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger. Because the man in that photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can't. Yeah. Glass shards prove the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, that clock was on the eastern wall, which means that this photo was taken from the west. Back to this shit? That's impossible! The only hallway in that apartment runs from north to south. The person with prints on that gun is your client. Only fact that matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You've played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What? What we're seeing is... Oh, wait. Max ammo! What is that? You're trying the glass shards again? Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure, they came from a standing mirror. A mirror that at the time of the shooting stood across the room from the western window. But then that would mean, at that angle, from that viewpoint, it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental arm since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad that it was recovered, because it just proved my client couldn't have possibly committed this crime. That should be the end of it. Except... it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk Cost has got its teeth in her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever, The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, you received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, he tried to claim it depicted my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. He could have had a backup arm. He could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. And it's got some intense Danganronpa vibes. I love it. It's getting late. Time to bare my fangs. A bit. That's the best you've got? Even a bare-bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to an individual's nervous system. You'd have to bring it into a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder, S.O. A record you won't find. And he'd still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it, minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well... Any objections? Detective? God damn it! Full L. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Now I gotta go call the DA. Tell her I made a mistake. Rookie. Novice. Call me. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective? Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you think her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah. That's kind of you to say, Detective. But my work is its own reward. Heh, sure. Feel exactly the same, counselor. What happens now? I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal. And there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yay? But what do I do? What am I supposed to do? The detectives will continue their investigation. Their investigation into heartbreak, huh? Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin. And then you can make funeral arrangements. No, that's not what I... Diane being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but... I know what you mean. I can't make sense of it. What am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There are some contacts I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself. Try and convince him that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos. But it's my job to... No, I mean... Thank you for not asking. Huh? For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you're innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all. Oh. The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place, easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling toward an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with singular, universal meaning, vitality at its climax, bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of lowbrow appeal. Well then. What a twist. I like her even more. Bullet number 66. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but... whatever. Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash. But cash can't buy you peace of mind. Likes high places, gambling, guns, nosy people, mud, headphones, hobby, batting cages, Mapo tofu, cannot carry a tune. Yeah, criminal comic defense attorney. But cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Loping around in the dark in here, must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did you think I was her boyfriend back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey! Yeah, did you hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People aren't even familiar enough with that sounding or to know to run the other way. Probably rouse half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use even as a partial suppressor on the way in. Can they really not afford some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces, in small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places, usually full of trash. This room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except, there's shit on the floor. By the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5% crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot there, just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, tear into the sheets with my frustration, and try to savor the shredding. If it can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it'll be consistent. This was all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After that, I did start to actively aim for the heart. But, Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? All the threads and breakdowns in the goddamn theory crafting. And all for the Heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain. For a season where the writers were on strike. I'd feel insulted by the label, but no. That's someone else's name. They come up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people come up with something. That he got rejected one too many times, or whatever. Me, I killed those people because I saw them, and I wanted to. I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to the end. To no end. And now that doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoy your 50 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air is weighty tonight. Thick. Energized. A heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel in every hair. Okay, there. Don't know why I wasn't going. Call this kind of community oppressive, but I disagree. The warm sensation on your skin, liking those short moments just after the shower turns off, when the steam lingers. Yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Yeah, like a weighted blanket. Or a lover on top of you in bed. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that. But I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk. 5:01 a.m., June 5th. Sorry, using my left is still... That's okay, you can just initial in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching. Oh my god. This is fucking Yoshikage Kira's routine. Has a shower, a glass of warm milk, and then does some stretches right before bedtime. Made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate, Since it was so late and so urgent, I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have had enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. Gambler with a system must be, to a lesser or greater extent, insane. And I got 32 chips. Fuck. I want to buy the charm! All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning. Okay, where else? Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was of course innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There'd be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans, depending on his looks. More attention to HK and his crimes, more headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved with a case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there. Like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room, just to make doubly sure I didn't still smell of gunpowder myself. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously, everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus. And thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diane is grateful too. Funny. I didn't even know her name. Something the matter? No, sorry. It's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died... Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground. No, I know, but... I just kept thinking that she must have died angry at me. That she must have died hating me. I have evidence. Oh, right! His pills, of course. Objection! Tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself. What is it? Something I noticed in the ARC data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it. Take that! What is... Where'd you find that? That pill organizer was found on the victim. She had a grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained tripexazone? It's described to help modders with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky clasts, too, for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medication for the week. To my eyes, anyway. Just like showing the statue to hairy butts. Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever even see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites a downfall. So why? Why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I'll just need to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody. There's no more bullets left. There won't be a seventh victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to the next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever... Found you! District Attorney Rockford. Is that me? Sorry, can I try that again? Yeah, that's me. I'm so fried. By all means. Oh, that is me. That's me in real life. Counselor Morgan. Morning, noon, or night, you're always so put together. Thank you. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? Pardon? You do white noise? Aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court, trying to prove a defendant's guilt. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. Andrea, if you could see the actual bags under my eyes, you would be concerned for my physical well-being. Who needs eyeshadow when I just have... Like, who needs eyeshadow when you have depression? I should know. Since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job. And hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? Oh, well, actually I'm here for you. You forgot about our date, didn't you? 165. O positive. Likes coffee, toffee, haughty couture. Coffee, toffee, haughty couture. Dislikes sunburn, dead pixels, eye strain. Hey, me too. Eggs, Benedict. Place, chess, shogi, idle savant stars. Cat person, yes. Well, I'm allergic to cats, so... Also, ideally I like my eggs huevos ranchero. Or scrambled. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case. Oh, the glare of the glasses. Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me. No? Why would I be worried about going up against you? It's always the unintended barbs with her. Started working with those detectives? Yeah, London the new girl. Reyes? They've been reporting to me in preparation for trial. Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious. I guess I gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. Hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So Reyes told you they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed and all excited to run down here? Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the heart. Yeah, my ears perked up. But that's about all. Oh? I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer. Same serial killer that's outsmarted the state for weeks. Just not using his middle name. He was found with a murder weapon. But I can use that any number of ways. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play my hand too soon. That may be true, but then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it? No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about. His dominant arm modded with documented sensitivity issues. Never could have made shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles. Probably too heavy to not leave imprints. She got all that from a glance? Good face. Pandemonium VT, hey. It's going alright. We kind of just wrapped up the... wrapping up the episode 0 here. Emma's scary good, hot damn. Yeah, she's literally me. If I was like... Me if she was like... Me if I was like 6 inches shorter. But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in here. Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Uh-huh. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, so not the type to ball. Argumentative, so not the type to ball things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, the... Right, sorry, you've probably never heard of it. I know what a goddamn profile is. Profile is a reconstruction of criminal psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much need to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 when the who is caught on camera. Or before they even leave the house. I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it. But I think we're getting the hang of it. Flatterer. Trying To get your dating profile just right can be a full-time job. Let Valentine take the reign with our automated, secure, and confidential tools that put your better than best foot forward and put the sexy back into finding the right match. Not what I wanted to find. Stupid AI. So this profiling, it's some kind of investigative technique? The theory is that a crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing? Overkill? Points of passion? Rage? Lust? Probably knew their victim. Poisoning guns, meanwhile, suggests they can't overpower their victims physically. Then there's the things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few or no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes in their stories. The detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. How much can his crimes posse tell you? That he's diligent, almost perfect. Highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm. It's weird to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. Sheltered house cat who's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time. A lone wolf, educated, but all her playfully lethal instincts come to life. Probably overqualified or undervalued. But I'm not thrilled about the fact in that metaphor I'd be the... Know what I mean? Definitely! And considering the marksmanship, the detective said that HK would have needed insider information on optics. Does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement? Never in 10 billion years. Good yawning face. Oh. Antisocial, independent, despises authority. That'd be like a stallion applying for a job in a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the first full rotation. Right, that's exactly how I'd put it. Must be some connection to police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary. These types can't help but insert themselves. Insert themselves? I don't do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK's not a cop, how do they know about the blackout timing? Crime metastatistics analysis? Probably. Pardon? Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out. Look for brief spikes and delays. Chart out the dips in... Sorry. Technical, I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. Oh, with the map of spreadsheets, a calculator... Anyone could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to. Hey, Mocha. You're at, like, near the end, I think. That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Well, at least his heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon. He didn't lose it. He chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. It just makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills. Were there other shootings with the same MO? No, not that I found. Other victims that fit the description? No, but I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, these 6 victims all look like each other. They'll look like a lot of people. Brown hair, brown eyes. Emma has brown hair and brown eyes. Chad, I'm connecting the dots. I'm connecting the toxic Yuri dots. Yeah, like, near the end of the game, so like big spoilers, obviously. Eyewitness is completely blind. I had no idea what type of game this is going to be. I've connected them. You didn't connect shit. I've connected the dots. I mean, these 6... Alright, I already said that. That's true. Hell. They kind of look like... Oh! Shit, I'm so big-brained. They kind of look like me. Do they? Sure. What, you don't see it? I hadn't thought about it. Point is, no one can go that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things that perfect takes practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice Morgan. That's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer. You got something catchier in mind? I just don't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy and their cold-blooded efficiency. Best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. Their real signature isn't the bullets or the gun, it's the perfection. That's hard to wrap your head around. I'm saying that these 6 murders are just a fluke, a slip-up, a mistake? Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient. Now they've got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed. Are you talking about the crime scene? Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right? Based on what you said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing. On the contrary. I don't follow. This was the last bullet, their last shot. They were the fight for perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum. You make them sound like a child. Childish. And cowardly. And two-faced. And probably a lesbian. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win. Your profile tell you that? That? No. That part's just... takes one to know one. So to summarize, looking for a cold-blooded, faceless, perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type. In a city with an 8-digit population. Well, good luck! I don't need luck. I only need more information. Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources. No, Morgan, I mean I need more crime scenes. Oh. Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies. Yeah, 8-digit population. A city with an 8-digit population doesn't sound that too out there. That's probably like... There's probably something like that in New York, yeah? Or California? Or somewhere in Asia. Oh, right. That's in the millions. Why was I thinking hundreds of thousands? That's 6. It's late. I'm hungry. Only one way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies. Not a very fair trade, is it? No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil. Fair enough. Woof. Okay, that room was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to go out. I need to get out more. Or sleep more. Or sleep less, but harder. Think a higher thread count would help? Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom. Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So no hard feelings, yeah? No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do. Huh? I could use a cup of coffee. How about you? Don't tempt me. If you fall asleep face first on the table, I won't even take a picture. Pfft, okay. Just don't expect this to make it different next time we're at each other's throats. Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation. And the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different. I need there to be so much toxic fury of these two on AO3 as soon as I end stream, you don't even know. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bring it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Thank you, Bray. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view. Episode 0, end. Emma is different. Yeah. Yep. Ah, flashbang. Who's this? Android. Which means you're going to be living with my friend for a while. For how long? I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it. My face barely moved. May as well have been a blatant pout from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that. This friend of yours, they're trustworthy? Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on, it'll be fun. Really? Really? Educational too. I think you could stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan. Ooh. Credits. Evil art and architecture by Evil Little Bug. Programming by MC. That's a person who reblogged my stream announcement on Blue Sky. Were they in chat? Have they been in chat this whole time? I hope so. I hope not. That'd be embarrassing. 3D models. Alright, the environments are 3D. AA renders. Environments by MCF. AA renders. Written, direct, developed by Brian Mulholland. Volunteer playtesting by Grisson, Hugh J, Max. I didn't. That's not me. I did not play this game. I told you I went into this blind. S. Tumbit, Thomas Colamander, Wee, Xenons. Special thanks to Adrian at Alterlinks, Exumbrant, Killjill VT, Mado, Man Monks. Special thanks to Dev Talk, Philly Game Mechanics, our friends and family, you the players, Full attributes available. Level.card.co. Made with Unity. Nanny Novel. .ween. Pro Builder. Shapes. Built with shapes? Yeah, I sure hope so. Everything's made of shapes. Game by Nth Circle. Of the Devil, episode 0. And he shall appear. To be continued in. You're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people. Personally, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world. You're a criminal defense attorney and we're at a crime scene. I think you can guess what happens next. I've never stolen anything that wasn't already compromised. Work hard and the company will have you set for life, and after too. Can't tell you how many musicians I've seen screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. But that's not just a lawyer job thing? You dress like a doorman on the weekends too? Compared to determining fault, determining cause of death is like a breath of fresh air. Company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. But it's a million times more likely than the alternative. That Heartbreak could ever stop themselves from killing. Father said that you owed him. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. Of the Devil, episode 1. An Idle Mind. Well, this episode 0 had a lot more substance than I was expecting. I'll have to get episode 1 soon. Zero of 2 articles, 6 profiles, all keys. Congratulations! You finished episode 0 with 32 credits. You also unlock concept art and bonus scenarios based on your highest score on episode 0. Have 32 remaining store credits to spend on phone charms and case colors based on the highest credit you finished this episode with. Sweet. How does that hair work? But, or lack thereof. Maybe she is Makima. Oh, they're parallels. I didn't realize that. That's cool. I love that. Looks like she's staring at her cleavage. That's good. enjoyed. Inverse of Morgan's colors. Cool. Bonus scenarios. Oh. I'll have to come to these later. Because I'm almost at the 4-hour mark, and I want to make some fucking macaroni. Oh, I want to get that before the... Hang on. Nice. Well, I'll buy that... I guess I'll buy that stuff next time. Well, I am now a fan of this game. And that is 14 DMs waiting for me. Holy shit, Bray. I'm assuming that's all from you. Well... let's find ourselves a person to raid. I wonder if Maury's still alive. She is! Paste. Alright, let's raid into Maury Hellcat. Nice friend, pretty friend, who's got the same chill PNG tuber vibes that I like to think I have. Not to toot my own horn. Maury's like way more skilled than me. Raid message is, and he shall appear. Thank you to everyone who showed up, especially you, Brave, for the resub. Much appreciated. If you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, there is my link to all my socials are down below. Follow me on Blue Sky, that's where I'm mostly active. I got a public Discord now. I think everyone who's been chatting is already in there, but if there's any lurkers, there you go. And this VOD will be up on my YouTube channel very soon. You can subscribe to that, maybe like the video, and that's about it. Good night, everyone. Bye.